Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at the H&K SP5, one of the most iconic PCCs on the market today. Whether you know it from movies, video games, or its legendary history, the SP5 is a firearm with a lot to offer. Today I'm going to walk you through what makes the SP5 stand out, where it falls short, and why I still enjoy shooting it. Let's get started. So let's quickly go over some of the specs for the SP5. It's chambered in 9mm. It uses the famous roller delayed blowback system, which is why it shoots so soft. It weighs about 5 pounds and it has an 8.8-inch barrel. One thing that's worth mentioning, it doesn't come with a pick rail, so if you're thinking about adding an optic, it's something to keep in mind. Thanks to first round ammunition, I put over 2,000 rounds through this SP5. First round is my go-to training ammo, and I even have a little something on screen to help you out. After all those rounds, I can say that the SP5 shoots incredibly smooth. That roller delayed blowback system keeps the recoil low, and if you suppress it, the recoil becomes even softer. When it comes to the trigger, it's just okay. It's not terrible, but it's also nothing to write home about. I'll ghost the trigger for you so you can see what I mean.
Okay, so here's the pre-travel, and then you get a bunch of creep. You get a crisp break, and then your reset. The reset definitely pushes your finger out, and you're right back on the wall. You get some creep, and then a break again.
Once I started to run the SP5 in my course of fire classes, I started to notice some of its major flaws. The first, and probably the most frustrating, is its manual of arms. When you fire your last shot, the bolt does not lock to the rear. So you're gonna have to manually lock the bolt back, then you're gonna have to drop the empty mag, insert the new mag, then you're gonna have to drop the bolt. It's a process that takes longer than it should, especially when you're used to more modern PCCs. And of course, with more training, I could definitely become more proficient with the SP5 manual of arms, but honestly, even with more practice, I'd always be faster with a more modern setup that has a simpler reload process. And that's not the only issue. There's also the magwell. It's narrow, like really narrow. It makes quick mag changes really tough, especially under pressure. To fix that, I had to get a flared magwell, which made a huge difference for me. But out of the box, those reloads can be really tough. It's just one of those things you're gonna have to accept that the SP5 comes with its quirks. For someone like me who runs classes, those quirks can be a little frustrating. But at the end of the day, I still find myself enjoying every minute that I spend with this gun. And trust me, I'll admit it, when you're locking the bolt back to make a mag change, or you're fighting with a magwell, it's not the most efficient system. But you really do have to remember that this design goes back to the 1960s. It's part of the history of the gun. You just have to decide if you're okay with working around those little inconveniences. Which brings me to one of the biggest reasons why I and so many others still love the SP5. It's the cool factor. This is the civilian version of the MP5, one of the most iconic firearms in the world. You've seen it in movies,
Yippee-ki-yay,
video games, TV shows, you name it. Owning and shooting the SP5 is like owning a piece of history. And the one thing that never gets old is slapping that charging handle to drop the bolt. It's just so satisfying. I can't even count how many times I pulled the SP5 out of the safe when I first got it just to slap the charging handle. It's just one of those small things that adds to the overall experience of shooting this gun. Even with its flaws, the SP5 holds a special place in my collection. The roller delayed blowback system makes this one of the smoothest PCCs you'll ever shoot, and it's very reliable. I've had zero malfunctions with this SP5. The recoil is minimal, and like I mentioned earlier, if you suppress it, the recoil is even softer. It's just a really enjoyable gun to shoot. Sure, the magwell can be a pain, and the reload process is definitely slower than a more modern PCC, but for me, the history, the design, and the way it shoots more than makes up for it. The SP5 is still one of my favorite PCCs to run in class, and it's just fun to own and shoot. So now we have to answer the question, what's stopping the H&K SP5 from being perfect? In my opinion, it's the manual of arms and the magwell. Those are the two biggest flaws. They slow things down and they make the gun less efficient compared to more modern PCCs. Plus, it's expensive, and sometimes it's even hard to find it in stock. But at the end of the day, the SP5 is a blast to shoot. It's smooth, it's reliable, and it has that undeniable cool factor. If you're into iconic firearms and you can appreciate quality craftsmanship, the SP5 is definitely worth considering. Just know going into it that it comes with some quirks. Let me know in the comments, do you think these flaws would hold you back from getting an SP5, or do you think it's worth it? If you liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, if you're in the market for CCW insurance, check out Right to Bear. Link is in the description below. Use coupon code UBR10 to get 10% off your entire order. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.